Topic of today is, listen, you as a man, you are not a schoolmaster. You as a man, you are not a schoolmaster. And your wife is not a schoolgirl. I think I cannot say that enough. I cannot say that strong enough. That you as a man, you are not a schoolmaster. You as a man, you are not a schoolmaster. And your wife is not a school girl. I can't emphasize this enough, guys. I can't emphasize this enough. And, as I'm mentioning this title here, I can't help but keep seeing all kinds of pictures, images, and memories of the environment where I grew up coming to mind. I never had a father, so that could have been a blessing in disguise, because I used to think that I didn't have a father, that maybe it's not the best of experiences, and that maybe it would have been better to have a father. But talking about this particular topic and thinking about it again now, I'm thinking maybe it's good I didn't have a father, because one thing that could be worse than not having a father is to have a father with a bad example. And some of the examples that I saw when I was growing up with other men and other families, now being an adult, we really need to do a total overhaul of our culture, of our cultural perspective to marriage and to women in general. What I saw growing up is that the women are always treated, almost 90% of the time, as a schoolgirl, unfortunately. Most women, most marriages that I saw, most relationships that I saw, the men, and not just the men, even the parents of the girls and the mothers of the girls and the community at large will always treat a wife as a schoolgirl. And it's not, if she's been treated as a schoolgirl, that is bad enough. But what is worse than being treated as a schoolgirl is that it's not just the husband treating her as a schoolgirl, but everybody else as well. Everybody else seems to be treating the girl as a schoolgirl, and especially the relatives, the mothers from the mother side and the father side. So it's a big question that we need to address. Oh, sorry. Meanwhile, I'm seeing that someone is being congratulated here. Who is that? Kennedy Festus. Okay. Kennedy Festus. Happy birthday to you, my brother. And I'm sure you are a better man. And I'm sure from this your association with us, that your life is not just growing in age now, in years and in days. I want to believe that you are actually growing in bonds and bounties, and you are growing up not just spiritually, but mentally, in wisdom, in understanding, in strength. So I pray that God's grace will keep on resting upon you, that you will fulfill your destiny, you will fulfill your heavenly mandate, that whatever field of influence that God has called you to, that God will help you to come to a total realization of the potential that God has put in you, that you will use your platform to become your voice, and that from that voice, you'll be able to bring a lot of effectiveness and results to the kingdom of God and to the improvement and betterment of humanity. So we release grace, we release blessings upon you and your family this hour. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, I keep on talking about the attitude of a schoolmaster versus schoolgirl. I don't know how your culture is in that sense. I don't know what culture you are coming from, but it is the attitude. It is only the attitude of schoolmaster and a schoolgirl that will make a man to lift up his hand to slap the wife or to beat the wife or to be scolding the lady. First of all, let me say, how is that attitude manifested of a schoolgirl and a schoolmaster and a schoolgirl? Okay, I cannot say this enough, but men, please, never look down on your wife as somebody that is inferior to you. If she's inferior to you, then don't marry her. And unfortunately, in some cultures, we men think that, not all of us, but some men actually look for weaker women, especially, and they look for inferior, maybe not inferior, that's a bad word, but just for lack of a better word, men will especially look for weaker women, or maybe almost, inferior women, and try to marry those kind of women. And the reason why men do that is because they want to be able to assert their authority. I don't know if this is there in Africa or not, but I think it's in Africa. Especially I heard that in eastern part of Nigeria, men will always marry. Men most likely will marry a lady that is much younger than them. But maybe it happens in my part as well. But in my part, it's not too popular. It's another thing that is popular in that place. It's multiple wives. Anyway, well, what I'm saying is this: a schoolmaster mentality. In my own church here, even here in Russia, I will have a man that is 40 years old or 35 years old looking for a wife in the church. And instead of him to go to, if you are 35 or 40, I think it's logical to look for a girl in the range of not more than 10 years your junior. Maybe if you are 40, you might be looking at a girl of 35, or you might be looking at a girl of 30, 35, 32, in that range, or maybe at least maybe 40, maybe closer to you. But unfortunately, and this is, I don't know if that is available, that is the same thing in your culture or not, but here, some weak men, I cannot call them any other thing, but weak men, these men will go and be looking for, they are 40, can you imagine, a man is 40 and is looking for a girl of 20 or 21, between 20 and 25, and he is 40. And so I began to talk, I noticed that trend in my church, even in my own church. So I called some men to myself, and as the senior pastor, I began to talk to them. Why that? I mean, they would tell me there are no girls in the church. What do you mean there are no girls? There are a lot of ladies here, and most of these ladies are just matured. I mean, grown-up ladies that are 27, that are 29, 30, 35, 33, 32. I mean, grown-up ladies, 36, 37. The girls, I mean, the boys are not even looking at them. The guys are not even looking at them. They are not looking at the ladies that are 35. They are 40. They are not looking at the girl that is 35, 36, 37, 38. And I was thinking that is exactly the girls that you are supposed to look at. But they don't. So I was thinking they were actually afraid of, they were of the opinion that those girls were not beautiful enough, or they have lost their sharpness or something like that. Until I began to talk to them. And in my conversation with them, I realized that no, they don't think that those girls are not beautiful. They know they are beautiful. Actually, I was thinking it's just because of beauty or something. No, they admit that the girls are beautiful, the girls that are 35, 36. But they gave me a very, I would say, silly explanation that I'm actually, that I'm ashamed of saying. I mean, so this was a man talk, all right? And the men were telling me, we want to marry younger girls. So if he's 40, he wants to marry a girl like 20, 21, 22, maybe 25. Because they tell me like this. I mean, these were like many men. And they were saying, we want to marry a girl or a lady that is not yet formed in our opinions, that is not yet established in our mindset and in a paradigm or in our worldview. We want a girl that is still, pliable. We want a girl that is still pliable, that is still, flexible. A girl that could still be molded. Actually, that I'm ashamed of this, but this is exactly what they were saying. We want a girl that could still be molded. Molded to what? To Christ's image? No, to our own liking. Maybe I'm sorry that I have to say this before you girls, but maybe you have heard things like that, or maybe you have heard things worse than that, but I'm even ashamed of saying it. I'm even embarrassed saying it. But, I don't know, maybe it's a Ukrainian thing or it's a Russian thing. But, there are men out there that think like that. There are men out there that think like that. I don't know if African men think like that, but like Nkiru is confirming here, in the eastern part of Nigeria, people think like that too. But in the eastern part of Nigeria, I don't think it's because they want to mold the girl according to. That's not what I think. I think maybe in the eastern part of Nigeria, it's probably because the man is spending a lot of time looking for money, and by the time he's ready to marry, he can only find young girls. That's what I think. But here, they actually told me this, and these men are saying they want a girl that they will be able to shape to their own understanding of life. They don't want a girl that is already having her own understanding. They don't want a girl that is already having her own paradigm, her own worldview. They don't want a mature girl. They don't want a matured girl. They want a girl that could be, dominated. As shameful as that is, they want a girl that could be dominated. That is a shame. That is a shame. That's a shame. You don't look. That shouldn't be a criteria to choosing a girl at all. And I will tell you that has a flip part to it. It had a side effect, bad side effect. If you as a man, you're picking a wife or you are choosing a girl that is much younger than you, just because she's not mature enough to have her own opinion and to have her own mind and her own worldview, and she's not established yet in her value systems, and so you want to manipulate her or teach her your own value system, and you want to be able to apply her according to your own understanding and mold her and make her, to be adjusted to the kind of girl that you want. Well, the downside to that and the flip effect of that is that every girl sooner or later will come to maturity. And when she's 25, between 25 and 30, or maybe between 30 and 35, our eyes will open. And I've seen a lot of this, believe me. I'm an experienced pastor, and I have many people that have passed through me. When she becomes 30 or 35, after she has given birth to one child, two child, or three children, one child, two children, three children, once she has given birth to, maybe she has not even given birth, but once she's around 30 years old or 35 years old, a girl begins to, even from the age of 25 or 27, a girl begins to understand life totally differently from how she saw life when she was 20. You know, if you are happy that you took her at 20 and you are now going to be able to, to mold her and, adjust her and change her to the way you want, it looks good for you, but that's just in the beginning. Later on, when, her full maturity comes, when she grows up and she will begin to see how other women are living, she will begin to see who you are. She will begin to see you for who you are. And okay, some men are saying, okay, yes, let her see me for who I am, or let her come to maturity, but it will be too late for her. Okay, maybe it will be too late for her, but first of all, when a lady begins to realize that she's a different person than when she was 21, number two, she will begin to think, how did I even get to this marriage in the first place? How did I even get here? And she will begin to get angry with herself. Then she will begin to get angry with you. And she will begin to get angry with the whole world. And if she has a child at that time, she's even more angry at that child, because she's now thinking, because of this child, I cannot even live. I cannot even go and build my own life. Now, next thing that begins to happen to this kind of ladies is that when she's 30 and 35, she's now experiencing panic fear. And the panic fear is that, is this the way I'm going to live my life for the rest of my days? Is this the way my whole life is going to be? And she will begin to make attempts to get out of that prison, because she has just realized that she's in a prison. And she now knows that she wants to be herself. She wants to be an individual. She wants to be, she wants to be her own person. And so either she will try to be her own person through looking for a career growth or a career fulfillment, or she will begin to try to be her own person by trying to find a way to make money, or she will try to, just get out of the marriage one way or the other. If it is impossible for her to get out of marriage, what people in a place like Africa will do is that she will begin to do a lot of religious stuff. She will begin to go to church, and a lot of ladies are hiding in the church as a place of refuge, it's actually a means of escaping from the reality of their homes and of their families. So a lot of these women, they just want to be going to church from morning to night. They want to be singing. They want to be doing all kind of things just for them to forget whatever reality they have back at home. So at this point, when ladies begin to realize that they have lost themselves and they are not in the kind of relationship that they would have liked to, and when they realize that if they could choose again, that they would never choose to be in that relationship, they are, like I said, they are so angry. They are angry at you. They are angry at themselves. Why they allow that to happen? And because marriage is always looked at as something that you cannot come out of, or where you cannot divorce. So she goes and buries herself in the church. And she goes and says, okay, I will just, they begin to pray. At first, they go to church to pray that God should change you. And then they realize that, maybe church is the only way where they could escape from their daily reality, and they just disappear in church. So what I'm trying to say is that to marry a girl that is not matured will backfire. It's going to backfire. There is a lady that just, I'm not going to mention any name, but there is a lady that just told me about her story, that, she is now maybe 40 years old or so, or close to 40, maybe 30 something. And it is now that she realizes that she wants to be a lady. She wants to be a girl. She wants to, at 40, can you imagine? That is when, maybe not less than 40, but that's when she's just waking up to her, to her feminism, to her feminine nature. And she wants to be beautiful. Her kids are grown up a little bit, and she wants to look like a lady. But she said I think she's a kind of late bird, that when she was in her 20s, like 19, 20, 21, she was not using a lot of makeup. She was not, she was just being a modest African girl, right? So she would not use makeup. She would not wear trousers. She would not dress flashily. So it is that characteristic that the husband saw and defined her as a modest girl, as a modest girl. So he married her for that reason. So now that she has changed and she started wearing trousers and she started dressing flashily and she started using makeup, although she says that the reason she started using makeup is because she's now 40, and as 40, you are not as attractive as you are when you are 20, and makeup will help, and makeup helps her to look, to be able to accept herself and to be able to look a little bit better. Then this man got mad. Okay, it means you want to make yourself attractive. Okay, you want to make other men to begin to see you, or you are having a boyfriend somewhere, or you want to go and become a prostitute, or you are this and that, and he started bullying her. He started bullying her, trying to call her a prostitute just because the girl wants to look like a girl, just because the lady wants to look nice. That is horrible. That's horrible. And so to cut a long story short, he killed that love that wonderful lady, was having for him, to the extent that the girl said, I would rather come out of the marriage. I would rather divorce than being bullied by you like this. So what I'm saying is that that mindset of a headmaster, that headmaster mentality, it's not for marriage. I'm sorry. It's not for marriage. Maybe in marriage, you could still be like a headmaster to your children, but never to your wife. You are never a headmaster to your wife. Never treat a lady like a headmaster. Never treat a lady as if she's a schoolgirl. Please, anything you do, don't do that. You can never, don't do that. And like I started saying that in the beginning, in growing up in Africa, the whole thing that I saw around me is ladies being treated like schoolgirls. All throughout my life, everything I notice whenever I see men and women and families, I don't know if you have this in your culture, which I think is a wonderful thing, by the way. When a family has a crisis, let's say between husband and wife, in our culture, where I come from, and I think it is all over Africa, maybe in Nigeria, instead of you going to divorce immediately or going to court or something, you go and complain to the family members. So the man could take the complaint to the family of the woman, or vice versa. The woman could be the one that takes the complaint to the family, which is a great idea, beautiful. It's much more better than going to court and divorce immediately. Of course, now we have family psychologists, we have pastors. But when I was growing up, pastors were not everywhere like now, and psychologists was just out of the question. And I think people still do it now. But so I think that is a wonderful traditional counsel. Like that is a wonderful idea. I think we should still keep those traditional counsels. But what I'm concerned about is the fact that I saw a lot growing up as a little boy, as 5-year-old boy, 6-year-old boy. I was just walking about, always seeing those kind of meetings, and one husband and wife always comes with the family, the whole family meeting, gathering together. And in all those meetings, for all I saw, in all those meetings, I'm sorry, maybe it's the culture that is like that, but it's just like it's a giving to treat the lady as a schoolgirl. It's almost like it is just normal to treat her as a schoolgirl. No matter what a bad thing the man has done, even if it's not the woman that is at fault, even if it is the man that is at fault, he will be treating her not as a victim, but he will be treating her as maybe as the culprit, as the person to blame, as the criminal. You know, he will treat her bad. He will bully her. He will bully her, treat her like a schoolmaster and a schoolgirl. And then when they come to the family meetings, normally the family meetings and the members of the family are also treating her as if she is nothing, as if she is a schoolgirl, as if she is... You know, why this is emotional to me is that if you know the nature of women in the first place, this is totally anti-woman nature. It is just anti-woman nature. What example can I use, my God? You know, the Bible calls the woman a vessel, but a weak vessel. So just like this cup, this is fragile. Women are fragile by nature. Bullying is not for women. Women are supposed to be cherished like this. Women are supposed to be preserved, protected. Women are supposed to be guarded, protected. Women is not, I'm not talking physical. This is not about physical fragility or physical weakness. Emotionally, listen closely. The glands of the woman, it works with more intensity, especially the hormone glands. The hormone glands of the woman is much more so complex than the one of the men, that it makes them to be emotional. The reason why women are emotional is because of the building, their physiological and their biological composition. God made women in such a way that they are fragile emotionally. God made them to be delicate emotionally. So because of their hormones and the changes that happen in their body, I mean, you men, can you imagine that you are the one having menstruation every month? Can you imagine how much changes go on in their lives, in their body, on monthly basis? It's just like you as a man being sick every month. I mean, bleeding every month. And you think, oh, they are used to it now. They are doing it all their lives. They are used to it. It's not about the bleeding that I'm talking about now. It's not about the menstruation I'm talking about. But I'm talking about the complexity of their makeup. I just want to help the men here today understand that women are 14 times more sensitive. 14 times more sensitive. They feel pain, not physical pain, not bodily pain. They feel emotional pain 14 times harder, harsher, sharper than women. Women are they could easily be damaged. That's what I'm trying to say. They can easily be emotionally ruined and damaged. I mean, okay, let me tell you what. Have you seen this picture where a slim girl stands before the mirror? She stands before the mirror and she is seeing herself in that mirror as fat. That it goes a long way to tell us about how delicate women are. Even though she's looking okay, but when she looks at that mirror, she's seeing weakness. She's seeing fragility. She needs support all the time. Women are supposed to be always supported. Women are supposed to be guarded and protected. They need covering all the time, especially emotionally. She needs to, her inside needs to be protected. She must be protected. humility. What they call it? Humiliating women is just destructive. Is deadly. Humiliation is not for women. Disgracing women and using shame, humiliation, and disgrace as an instrument of upbringing, as an instrument of training for the woman. And I see so many men do that. 14 times. Okay, for example, can you imagine? She's even okay. She's looking at the mirror and she's seeing herself. Even how many times have you, she's always thinking negative about herself. She's always thinking she's worse than she is. She's always thinking, why do they need to do makeup? Why do they need to, look nice and dress nice? Because she's not confident enough. She's not so sure. She's not always sure of herself. She's not always certain. She needs affirmation all the time. That is how fragile a girl is. Now, if you now come and now you come telling her she's nothing, using shame, humiliation, and disgrace as an instrument of correction. Please, you men that are here today, I beg you, I'm going to stand on my knees if you want me to do that. I'm going to stand on my knees and I'm going to beg you men, anything you want to do, never use disgrace as an instrument of punishment for your wife. In fact, disgrace and shame should never be applied and used against anybody. Shame and disgrace, they are not scriptural. You are demeaning the nature of God if you do that. You are humiliating God if you do that. Never use shame against a woman. Never use shame against a woman. Never use the instrument of disgrace against a woman. And never use the instrument of humiliation against a woman. Never. Just, better walk out, better, better keep quiet, better, I don't know what you're going to do, but vow to yourself that you will never do that. Just promise yourself, promise God, promise your wife, promise your daughter, promise the ladies in your life that you will never use these three instruments as an instrument against a woman. Never use shame, never use disgrace, never use humiliation against a woman. They are too fragile for that. That's the point I'm trying to make. Women are too fragile. So that old mentality of schoolmaster and a schoolgirl thing, they are all based on breaking. Let me tell you another thing you should never do against a woman. Oh my. Let me tell you another thing you should never do against a woman. Never break her. Never break her. Never crunch her. I see so many of that. I see so many of that. I see so much of men trying to assert their authority in the home and over their own jurisdiction, trying to break a lady. Men always try to do this all the time. Men always try to break. They always try to break her because we want to win an argument. That is another thing you should never do. Never try to break a lady. Never try to break a will or crush her. Never try to crush a lady. A lady, she should never be broken. She should never be crushed. She's like a flower. A lady is like a flower. It's just like this glass. If you break it, how will you gather it back together? Never break a lady. Never break her will. Never break her emotions. Never use, crushing as your instrument of strength. It's never any victory that you secure by crushing her, any victory that you think you got, by breaking her and crushing her and shaming her and silencing her, that is not victory. That is a victory that will flip back and hit you in the face. That kind of victory is no victory. That victory of crushing and humiliating her and silencing her and breaking her will, that is not victory. that is a shameful defeat for you. If you have to use strength, if you have to use force to silence a lady, to break her, to crush her, she will remain forever damaged. You are killing a human being right there. You are killing her. You have just killed that girl. In fact, let me tell you how serious this is. Even the nature of a girl and a woman does not even take a rebuke. How do you say? You can correct a girl, but don't ever chastise her or rebuke her or speak harshly to her. Anytime you speak harshly, you chastise her hard with your words, especially you doing that with the word. And every time you humiliate and, make her to look small, something dies in that woman. Something dies in her. So, let me regain myself back here. Let's change that order. Instead of you trying to make yourself and assert your authority as a schoolmaster over the girl and over your wife, let's change it. Let's change that position. Let's turn into what every lady is dreaming of. The reason that girl agrees to marry you in the first place is because she was hoping that you are going to protect her from all that. She was hoping, in fact, the very reason why she agrees to marry you is that she was hoping that you are the one who will protect her from shame, from disgrace. Listen to me. I don't even care what she has done. Even if it's your daughter and she gets pregnant, don't use those three things. Don't crush her. Don't use shame. Don't use disgrace. Don't use humiliation to train her. I know a lady that used to come to this platform, and she had an affair. She's married. She was married, and she had an affair with a man. And then the man, the husband got to know, and they took her to the pastor. And he was, of course, beating on her, humiliating her, destroying her. Then when she got to the church with the husband, the pastor also got on her and started, in fact, the pastor even made it worse, saying, if I were you, I would throw her away. She should just be thrown. The impression is that being weak or being a woman, a weak person, a helpless person, as if that gives us the right or the freedom, the authority to mistreat. But I think it's the opposite. Weakness of the opposite side should not give us. That is not. When somebody is already weakened, when someone is already humiliated, when someone is already buried in shame of her sin and of her mistake. She's already broken. She's already damaged. She's already disgraced. My thinking is that is not the time to trample her under our feet. That is not the time to damage her and totally destroy her and throw her in the street and make her feel totally worthless. I think we people who have been given strength, power, energy, money, financial strength, positional strength, as pastors, as leaders, as husbands, that any kind of authority that we have, power or strength that we have, should rather be used to build people up, to lift other people up, to lift the weaker people up, to actually build her back, give her some hope, give her some help. That's what Jesus did. The lady that was caught in adultery, she was actually caught in adultery. And they were expecting Jesus to use his own place of authority, his authority to come down on her and crush her. But Jesus knows the nature of women. Jesus would never crush her. Jesus would never even crush anybody. And especially a woman. Jesus would never crush a woman. And he would never teach a woman through shame. Jesus would not do that. Jesus is a gentleman. And I think we should all try to be like Jesus. What Jesus did, you know what he did? Let me tell you what Jesus did. Can you imagine about 20 men or 40 men, 50 men surrounding a poor girl? 40 men, 20 men, I don't know how many they were, but all these Pharisees, looking big, and she's just a girl. And all of them were dragging her, and they dragged her to the feet of Jesus and said, look at her. They already killed her, by the way. They already killed her. They already humiliated her. They already killed her. They already killed that girl. But they were still not satisfied. They wanted to bring more punishment to her. They wanted to bring more shame to her. They wanted her to be more humiliated, more destroyed. They wanted to crush her altogether. Oh my. You see, we think we have a reason. And when we are disgracing people, we are crushing people, we are humiliating people, we are always referring back to the reason that we have, to the argument that we have. So we think we have a reason. So because there is a reason, and the reason that she was caught in adultery, that reason justifies our wickedness. That reason justifies our harshness. That reason kind of justifies, we think we are justified in our attitude. So when they came to Jesus, they were trying to make Jesus understand that there is a reason here, that we are justified, and there is a reason why you too must join us, and why you must help us destroy this lady. And Jesus is not like that. Jesus is not like that. First of all, the first thing we must all think about is that we are all guilty. We have all been guilty. We've all been faulty. We've all, messed up one time or the other. We were all sinners just yesterday, just the other day. What about if God had come hard on all of us like that? What about if God had crushed us? We wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't be talking about it today. So Jesus listened to all these men and all these Pharisees, and he listened to them. He listened to their arguments. But he did, Jesus. Let us be like him. Let us be like Jesus. He would never allow them to make him into a schoolmaster. He would never allow them to change his attitude, his godly attitude, his fatherly attitude, his godly nature. He would not allow the bullying of these Pharisees to change him to become like them. He would never allow them to make him a schoolmaster. So what he did? He listened to all these accusations, and he did not he did not dispute the fact that the girl was wrong. He did not dispute the fact that the girl committed the adultery, right? But you know what my Jesus did? You know what my Jesus did? My Jesus went and put himself between the lady, the helpless lady. He stood between that lady and the crowd that wanted to stone her to death. He went there and stood in front of her. He went there and stood in her defense. He took a strong stand, not physically, I'm not talking physically, but he stand. He had a strong stand of defense and said, no, I will not allow you to do this. I would not allow you to. He went and used his power correctly. He used his power rightly. He knows what power is meant for. He knows what authority is meant for. Authority is not meant for bullying. Authority is not meant for oppression. Power is not meant to be used to oppress. Power and authority must not be used to put people down. Power and authority must be used to defend people, to protect people, and to lift others. So what Jesus did, instead of joining those people to condemn that woman who was clearly guilty, she was guilty, she was at fault, he went and protected her. He gave her that protection. And he said, any one of you that would dare stone her, let me see any one of you that would dare stone her. Let me see any one of you that would dare stone her. Let me see any one of you. Let any one of you dare do anything to her. Let any one of you dare do anything to her. I don't see that attitude too much today. I don't see that attitude too much in relation to women, in relation to the weak, in relation to the fallen, in relation to the sinner. I don't see that attitude too much. Even by the people who have power, by the people who have authority, by the people is like now is the opposite. People rather use the authority to crush the weak. People rather use the authority to humiliate the vulnerable. And that is so sad. But Jesus was the opposite. Jesus would never allow himself to become a bully. Jesus would never allow himself to become a schoolmaster. You know who he was? He became a protection. The reason why that girl agreed to marry you in the first place, he was hoping that you will become that Jesus to her. She was hoping, and all her hope was that you will become that Jesus for her. You will become that protection for her. That you as a husband, what does it mean to even become an husband to a girl? To a girl, a husband means somebody who will always be there for me, somebody who will not allow anybody to wrong me, someone who will always be there to protect me so that nobody will ever offend me, nobody will ever bully me, nobody will ever humiliate me, someone who thanks to whom I will always be secured, someone thanks to whom I will always be protected, someone who will be my companion, someone who will be my confidant, someone who will, who will never allow me to be offended, to be hurt. Someone, this person loves me. This person will become my husband. Actually, the attitude and reaction of Jesus right there is exactly what every woman is expecting from his man, from her man, from her husband. Every woman in this world is expecting to have a husband that will do like Jesus did. Every woman is dreaming that my husband will be like that, what Jesus did. Every woman is dreaming that their husbands would never allow life situation to hurt them, to crush them, that their husbands will stand between life situation and them and take everything with his chest and protect them and guide them away and protect them from those life situations. And every woman is dreaming that the husband that God will give them will be a man that will see their fault and their failure and their fallibility and their imperfection, but cover themselves and God and protect them. That imperfection, that failure, that weakness is not a reason to destroy you. It is rather a reason to protect you. It is rather a reason to cover for you. It is rather a reason to watch over you. It is rather, That was a reason right there for Jesus to join and at least to give the condemnation and to give the judgment against the girl. But Jesus would never do that. And everybody is expecting, every woman is expecting their husband to be that Jesus to them. Every woman is expecting that their husband will be that shield to them. Every woman is dreaming that they will have a husband that will be that protective edge, that protection to them. And that one that will, push back all the Pharisees and all the accusers. Oh my God, I think I'm getting too emotional now. Please don't look at that girl. Don't look at that your woman or your wife. Don't look at her anymore as a schoolgirl. Don't look at her as a schoolgirl anymore. Begin to look at her as who she is, the daughter of the Most High God. Begin to look at her as a princess of the Almighty. She's not a schoolgirl, and you are not a schoolmaster. Stop being a schoolmaster to your daughter, to your wife. Become a confidant. Become a protection. Become a defense. Become a father. Become a protective edge. Become a covering. Become a companion. Become a companion, a confidant. Let her know that once you are around, or once you hear about the situation, that she will be covered, that she will be protected. Let her always know that once you hear about the situation, that things will be resolved. Just like we are with our fathers. We know that once our fathers know about this, they will cover for us. They will stand in the gap. Be the type of man that will always stand in the gap for your girl, for your woman, not the one that crushes her. I can't go on. I'm sorry. My time is up. My time is over for today. I will not go on.